Okay, so we're back here after a couple week break. Talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier premiere, and maybe if we have time, we'll talk about the Justice League Snyder Cut.
Yeah, maybe. Well, it's good to be back. We had a little break, and yep, let's get right to it.
Okay, so we had the first scene, the premiere of Falcon and Winter Soldier, which is obviously about the two characters from the Avengers. And let's just get right into it. We jump into this intro scene with Falcon, who is now working for the Air Force, trying to rescue a military personnel from a hijacking.
Yeah, it's I don't know if that plot point was important at all, but the point is he's fighting against terrorists and he's a liaison with the U.S. government. Which, all right, well, we'll come back to that.
Okay, yeah, it's not important. You don't need to know why it's important because like the first 10 minutes of this episode is just like whoosh, Falcon flying around doing his Falcon thing, pew pew pew, bang bang bang, boom boom boom.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't really even need to like follow Avengers to enjoy it. It's pretty good. A couple of comments I have on this scene. Oh, I'm pretty sure I forgot to actually double check this, but I'm pretty sure the hijacker dude, the lead hijacker, it was the same guy that Captain America fought in the beginning of Winter Soldier, when they're on the ship. So am I right? Am I right?
Yeah. No, that's a really famous. I don't know if it's a really famous. That's a long-standing Marvel villain, Batroc the Leaper. So they got GSP back. He's also a famous MMA dude. So that was really cool to see. And actually, I will remind you that I specifically brought him up as an example of a good Marvel villain that did not die. So kudos to me for remembering that he exists.
Yeah, I put him in the same category as like a Crossbones was, is that like he kept coming up in like the different like movies and stuff, and he wasn't like the big bad. He was always like one of the secondary bads.
Crossbones? Yeah, that makes sense. Batroc's not the type of guy to like be an Avengers level threat.
Can you refresh my memory? What happened to him just at the end here? Did he die? I actually don't remember.
Batroc, he narrowly escaped the helicopter exploding, and he flew off into the distance.
Okay, he flew off into the sunset to do evil another day.
Basically.
Okay. Another comment I had on this scene was, I've seen wingsuit videos like online on YouTube and stuff, but I've never seen them be like as accurate as to fly the suit into a helicopter. I thought that was like, okay, if they could do that in real life, that would be insane. Like, I'd need to see that. But I chalk that up to like, the magic of Marvel in movies and cinema.
No, that's a really good point because well, to be fair, I did think it was a little risky to try to land in the helicopter when the blades could chop you up. But now that you mention it, also, shouldn't the downward force of the helicopter be pushing you down right before you land? And like,
also,
like,
oh yeah, go ahead.
Like if you came up below the helicopter, it should push you down, I believe.
You're saying the wind, the force from the, yeah, I don't know. Even if that wasn't true, if we neglect that, supposedly you're going like 60 plus miles an hour when you are doing the wingsuit. It just doesn't look that fast because, you're in the air, so there's nothing to like, there's no relative thing to look at to see how fast you're going.
Right.
So I was like 60 miles an hour into that helicopter, unless the helicopter can move sideways at 60 miles an hour, which would be a weird ass helicopter. So we'll just chalk that up to Marvel and the magic of movies and TV and cinema.
Just Marvel things.
What did you think of? We got the introduction of our man on the ground, Lieutenant Torres.
Yep.
He seems to be the new sidekick for Falcon, and I've heard that he has some significance in the comics.
Yeah, he's a character. I'm not familiar with his character, but he does exist. So he will probably wait. Let me just look him up. Yes, so most likely he will become a hero at some point.
Like a real hero, like with the.
No, like a Captain America
Okay.
style.
Okay. Um. So then we move to the market scene where they're kind of winding down from the mission, and Torres tells Falcon about the Flag Smashers, this group of disgruntled, should we say, the new bads of the world, and these group of people thought the world was better during the blip, during when
Yep.
everybody got Thanos snapped away.
So they're basically Thanos devotees.
Thanos devotees. Do they actually like worship Thanos or something?
I don't think so. But I mean, if you think the snap was good, you
Okay.
basically have the same philosophy as Thanos.
Okay.
By the way, Lieutenant Torres, he becomes the new Falcon in the comics.
Oh, okay. When Falcon takes on the role of Cap.
Not sure about the timeline
Okay. That's what I'm going to predict, though.
when
Falcon takes up the role of Captain America, Torres becomes the new Falcon.
got it.
Okay. Okay, so they thought the world was better during the blip. Yeah, I bet nobody who got blipped is part of the Flag Smashers. Can you imagine?
Bold prediction.
Okay. Moving on, he goes back home. He goes to DC. Falcon decides to honor Steve, and he doesn't feel he's worthy of the Captain America mantle. He feels like it still belongs to Steve, so he gives the shield back to the government. Supposedly, he's assuming to the Smithsonian to be on display. And then we get a conversation with none other than War Machine Rhodey.
Yep.
What did you think of this scene? Did you enjoy their conversation?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's interesting because they're both like sidekicks, right?
You mean they're both sidekicks of color?
They're they're no, that's exactly right, because like that's the way these characters are created. The white characters are came first, and then the derivatives are people of color for whatever reason. So like I think that's like an interesting shared perspective that they have.
Interesting. Okay. Let's see. In this discussion, he still talks about how he still thinks it belongs to Steve, the title and the shield. The one note I had here, for some reason it popped up in my head, is we're still in the 2023 MCU timeline. And in his speech, Sam said that it had been a few months since the Endgame battle.
Yep.
Okay, so this is a little bit after WandaVision.
Right.
Because Wanda was like mere
the
weeks.
Original release timeline.
Okay, so we're probably going to catch up to them fairly soon, especially considering everything's getting delayed. In terms of like real world timeline versus MCU timeline.
Maybe, yeah.
Not a big deal. That was just a note I wrote down here because he mentioned it. Okay, so that's our back with our intro with Falcon, and we turn over to Bucky. And the first scene we get of him, he's in Russia as the Winter Soldier. So we're not sure exactly how far back in time it is, but it's obviously a flashback of some sort. Back in time sometime. And he kills a bunch of these I don't know, Russian guys in Russia, and then the last guy he kills, which is probably his main mission target, was a young Asian man. And that
Oh, no,
becomes
no, no,
important.
no. He was not the target.
He was not the target. He was a witness.
He was just an innocent bystander.
Innocent bystander. Okay.
Yes.
And he just saw too much.
Exactly.
Okay. But this turns out to be a flashback, and actually it's Bucky. He had a nightmare flashback, and then he goes to therapy the next day. He's trying to make amends, trying to right the wrongs he did while he was at the Winter Soldier. I wrote some notes here. I said that he's got the ultimate PTSD story. I mean, like, his PTSD story, he's been fighting for like 100 years, dude. He's probably got like millions of traumatic events on him. He's just as old as Cap is, and Cap got to go right off into the sunset and have his happy ending, and here he is still trying to deal with everything. He got a pardon from the government, I think they mentioned, and now he's finally free, but he doesn't really know what to do now.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of a sidetrack, but since you mentioned the pardon, if you recall, Falcon was
I'm waiting.
on Cap's side during Civil War, which means how in the world is he now working for the government, right? Like,
Sorry, who? You saying Bucky or?
No, Sam Wilson. So
Yeah. I thought of that too, actually. Yeah.
and it's like they never really mention it, but there was never any resolution to that. It was just like, oh, Thanos is here, no time to discuss. Like, Avengers are back, and it's like, well, yeah, actually, you were a wanted criminal, and now you're a government contractor. Like, how did you get your security clearance?
Yeah, it's weird because like he was a military man, right? Or he was a vet. He was running a vet group when he met Captain
retired.
America. He was a retired vet running like a support group, right? When he met Cap.
Yep.
Yeah. So he had been in the military, but he obviously went hardcore the other way with Cap, became a fugitive from the government. Yeah, they don't really. I don't know. I guess a pardon just kind of waves it away, you know.
I guess.
He did help save the world against Thanos, so maybe that kind of, you know.
Does the government know that?
I'm sure they
You know what I
do,
mean?
but there's other ways of like, you know, like, oh yeah, we gave him a pardon, but that doesn't mean he can do like top secret ops missions for us, right? Like,
Right. I don't know. I mean, it's just a little. They didn't really mention it. Like they were specific about Bucky's pardon. But Bucky's was a little different because he was like, he was mind controlled. If that makes sense. First of all, well, you're not. That doesn't really matter, but.
well, he was mind controlled, and he also did a lot more terrible crimes too, right?
Oh, I'll explain the difference. So, Falcon specifically violated the Sokovia Accords, which is actually international law, and like, I don't know how pardons work with that. Bucky's only crime was, I guess he committed like war crimes, but like against the United States.
Well,
so like he can be pardoned for that.
I mean, he didn't turn himself in. That would probably be a crime, right? And that's not necessarily a war crime. I don't know. It's so messy, dude. In not Winter Soldier, in Civil War, that was the whole thing. Is like he didn't want to turn himself in. Cap didn't want to turn him in, and things just escalated, right?
Well, I mean,
is that a crime in itself? Not turning yourself in?
Being a okay. Let me think for a second. So if I recall correctly, Bucky was already free from mind control by the events of Civil War. It only came up because Zemo like framed him and brought him back into the spotlight.
Oh, framed him for the bombing at the UN, was it?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I remember now.
So actually, that is technically he was innocent of that crime. Now,
Okay.
is it a crime to run after being falsely accused? I'm sure they could drop that charge. He's never convicted, as far as I know. So anyway, all of that is to say, I buy Bucky's get out of jail free card more than Sam Wilson's.
Okay. All right. Back to the therapy session. I wrote that it was kind of funny. I enjoyed the banter between him and the therapist.
Yep.
Every time like she got her pen out, he was like, yeah. But so she's kind of put him on this path to make amends. They got these rules. He tells her about this senator that he helped get arrested. He didn't really do it according to her rules, although he says he did. But he didn't really murder the senator either. He just got her caught. So it is what it is.
And gave one grunt brain damage, but who's counting?
One grunt brain. It's Marvel brain damage. It doesn't last.
Just like Batman brain damage.
Yeah, Batman brain damage.
And Snyder bullets.
Yep. Okay, so then we move on to Bucky. He goes and he checks on his checks on this old Asian man that he's befriended. I thought this was kind of funny because in just the immediately preceding scene, the therapist is like, "You don't have any friends," and then he just shows up and he's like, "Hey, I thought we were gonna have lunch together." I'm like, "There's a friend. He's got a friend right there. It's just an old man. He doesn't text." But it's kind of not. It's not what you see. I was just thinking that when I was watching it. You find out who he is later, but and then they're in this Japanese sushi place, and I thought he was hanging out with the old dude because he felt old. Like he's 106 or whatever. He feels old, so he just like wants to hang around with other old people. You know, he probably can't like deal with these young people. But then I write, oh no, they got in my notes. I wrote, no, shoot, they got to tug on my heartstrings like that. Marvel, why you do this? It turns out that the old man is the father of the young guy that he killed in Russia in the flashback.
Yeah. So, my first thought was that
why you do this, Marvel?
This was a war buddy hero friend, like from World War II.
It could have been that too, yeah.
But so I did not see it at all the connection.
Yeah,
that it was the grandfather of the dude in the other scene.
Yeah. And then the grandpa dude sets him up on a date with the woman that owns the shop. I just thought that was so random. And then
what a hero.
What a hero. But then all I could think of was like, he's 106 and she's like, I don't know, 30 or something, or all I could think of was like Twilight or something, you know? It's just like, oh,
Twilight. Also, like, that part, my immersion was broken a little bit because, spoiler alert, it doesn't work in real life. You can't just like get a date with the bartender or whatever she was.
I think if you look like Sebastian Stan, you can.
Oh, is that it?
I think that's what it is.
Missing piece of the puzzle. Okay, file that for future reference.
Yeah, I saw like I was watching one of these Comic Cons or something, and like all of the girls there were like so thirsty for Sebastian Stan. It was kind of, it was like a running gag. It was so funny.
Interesting.
So okay. Anyway, moving on. We go back to Sam. We actually get to see Sam visiting his sister and nephews, his friend, his family. I thought the first thing I thought is he goes in this pickup truck. It's playing like this country music. I'm like, oh, he's a country boy. And he goes down and he meets them at the pier, and then the nephews say, Uncle Sam. And I was just like, Uncle Sam.
Yeah, that one's a little wink, wink, nudge,
I was
nudge.
like, yeah, wink. Yeah, I was like, okay, all right. A little too on the nose. I don't know.
I mean, that's his name.
I mean, yeah, he is. He's an uncle, and he's Sam. So, so we get a little bit of the backstory on his sister and his family. And of course, they're tight on money. His sister wants to sell the family boat. It looks a little beat up. So I thought, oh, of course they're tight on money. Of course they are. And so he offers to go to the bank and try to get them a loan. I'm just going to jump ahead to the loan scene. I don't want to keep going back and forth between him and Bucky. It's when they get to the bank, of course the loan officer like is a fan of the Avengers, and he's asking for selfies and stuff. And he says unfortunately the bank loan is denied because he has no payment or credit or anything for the last 5 years because he's been blipped, which is kind of a stupid rule if you ask me.
I mean, have you interacted with banks?
Yes, I know they have a lot of stupid rules, but yeah, okay, all right. Maybe that's probably the most realistic thing about the whole episode.
Yeah.
Huh? But then I thought, and then the guy asked him, and he's like, "Hey, how do Avengers make money anyway? Did Stark like pay you guys and stuff?" And he's like, "Oh, it didn't really work like that. There was a lot of goodwill and blah blah." I was like, "Dude, if you just started like a Twitch channel or something, like you would make."
For sure.
He would get like a bazillion views and all this revenue. I don't know. Anyway, but he doesn't do stuff like that, right? So his sister was super upset. She didn't even really want to get the loan, so he's got to figure something else out. Going back to Bucky, he goes on the date with this girl, and they play Battleship. What did you think of that? I thought that was kind of...
What do you mean?
Whatever. I don't know. It's like, did they have to choose like the World War II game? I don't know.
I did not catch that, but it's all about maximum PTSD.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess he wasn't on a lot of ships. I don't know. But they end up talking. She ends up talking about the old man. Talking about how his son died, and he was really bummed from that, and Bucky can't really handle the guilt. So he goes back to see the old man's apartment, and it looks like he's going to tell him, but then he kind of changes his mind when the old man answers the door. I guess too much PTSD. I'm sure he's going to end up making the amend and telling him later on, but something significant is probably going to have to happen. Don't you think?
Yeah, that sounds right. Maybe then I'll be interested to see the old man's reaction. Also, like, could you, if you're gonna leave the date that's going swimmingly well, could you at least like say your piece when you get to the old man's house? Like, he got the worst out of both situations.
Yeah, he didn't even like say goodbye or anything. So he just kind of
literally walked out.
He's just
that's why you don't date strangers in New York City.
He did the real life version of ghosting someone.
Exactly.
Yeah. We'll give him a pass on that, but you're definitely right. Okay, so we get this scene in Switzerland, actually, of Lieutenant Torres watching a bank robbery happening that seems to be being perpetrated by the what are they called? The Flag Smashers, right? And
yeah,
it looks like there's a bank robbery, and the leader of the Flag Smashers seems to have some sort of enhanced abilities, superpowers. He's strong.
Oh, you think it's a he?
It looked like a he. Sorry. They. She. Did I miss something? I thought it was like a big strapping dude.
Uh, let's come back to that.
Well, this is like the last thing we're talking about.
Okay, so
Well, the
I'll
second to
pause you
last thing.
then.
Second to last thing.
So, as you know, we live in a world that is dominated by advertising companies, namely Google and others that collect information about us and uh, do targeted advertisements. So, of course, um, these large companies know that I am watching or I'm interested in watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and they decide to show me trailers um, of said show when I am browsing the internet or I'm watching Twitch or whatever. Uh, and as you also know, I don't like to watch trailers because of its exact situation. Now, if you watch the main trailer that's going around for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, there are quite a few spoilers in in the in that thing. So, well, the first one that I'll say is Sharon Carter. Sharon Carter's back. Didn't see that coming.
Well, she's on my overlay right now, so yeah.
Also, just noticed that. Uh, what's it? The other one is they show the that person take their mask off, and it is indeed a woman. So, in case you were
Okay, I didn't see that trailer. Holy crap. Okay, all right.
yeah, exactly. So,
Is it a famous actress or did you recognize her?
no, I did not.
Okay.
Let me see. Um,
Don't look it up. Don't tell me. I don't want to spoil it.
all right. Anyway, so actually, I am looking it up. I thought my first thought was, um, well, hold on, maybe I'm wrong, because let's see. Yeah, I'm probably wrong. It was probably a different person in that scene, but there is a trailer with someone who takes off the mask and is a woman. So, um, I thought actually that person was Sin, who is the Red Skull's daughter.
What?
Yes, but as I'm looking it up, apparently that is not the case. That is not that character that I thought it was. So, um, but yeah, like I said, spoilers. A lot of spoilers in these trailers. That also they show scenes of Sam and Bucky practicing with the shield, and it's like I didn't really need to see that. I was still gonna watch it even if you didn't show me. And now it's like a little bit of a scene that I know is going to happen at some point in the future. It's a little bit warned,
Okay.
ruined.
Yeah, I feel like the Sharon Carter thing, they didn't really need to show that. I feel like not a lot of people are going to tune in just because Sharon Carter's in it, you know? And it would have been a nice little reveal, like if you didn't put her in any of the promo material.
Right, right. I agree with that. Unless they're planning to give her her own show at some point.
Yeah. Which they might do.
So, yeah, everyone gets a show.
Everybody's getting a show nowadays. Um, okay, yeah. Since you've talked about that, actually, I actually have been trying not to watch any of the promo stuff for them because they have like all these tiny trailers for TV commercials and stuff, and I purposely have been avoiding those. So,
Yep.
But yeah, there are a lot of familiar characters that will be showing up for sure. Plus, I guess the reveal of this unsaid big bad that you talked about just now. But I'm gonna wipe that from my memory because I want to be surprised.
You will be surprised, I guess.
Okay, so moving on to the very last scene is Sam and his sister are watching the news, and it turns out that the U.S. government is gonna be the U.S. government, and they decided to appoint a new Captain America, and they took the shield that Sam gave them in good faith and gave it to this new guy. I don't really even want to ask you, but what do we know about this new guy? I know he's pretty significant from the comics, but I'm just so pissed.
Oh, I don't know if I would call him significant in the comics. It's a little obscure. So
Okay, all right.
this person probably will become known as U.S. agent.
Okay.
U.S. Yeah, no. Look, let me just say this. All right, not every comic that has ever been written is like classic and really good. And not every character that was created is like really creative and like worth reading about.
Okay.
So this guy seems a little bit of a meme purposely. You know, it reminds me a little bit of what's that Dragon Ball Z character?
Krillin?
No, worse than Krillin.
Yamcha?
No, worse than Yamcha. It's Gohan's girlfriend's dad.
Sato-un, Mr. Satan.
Mr. Satan. He reminds me a little bit of Mr. Satan.
Is he really going to be like that? Like he's going to take all the credit for all the fights and all the wins and everything?
No, in the comics, he's like a legit hero. He's like a legit street level hero. But I don't know. I just foresee him being annoying and not useful and taking credit for things. So maybe that's how it'll play out in the show.
I'm going to have to agree with you there. I'm going to write that as a prediction. I'm going to have to agree with you.
Excellent.
Okay. Yeah, so let's just, I mean, that was the last scene, so let's just move right into the predictions. We're saying new Cap is going to take credit.
Yeah, but actually not be useful. What other predictions? I don't know. I feel like it's hard to make predictions after seeing the trailer. Like I feel like I know what's gonna happen. So, of course, they could still twist things around. But
shoot, I made a prediction when we were talking just now. What did I say?
Was it about the fake Captain America?
No, it was Lieutenant Torres. Yeah.
Yeah, Lieutenant Torres. You think he will become Falcon in the series?
Yeah, Falcon will become the new Cap, and Lieutenant Torres will become the new Falcon.
Right. Okay. Here's a prediction. Will we or will we not see Coulson in this show?
Coulson?
Yeah. Or is he dead? I haven't finished. Well, is he dead? I haven't finished Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
He himself, I haven't seen it, but he himself is supposedly dead, but his body comes back as like a different character.
He's a robot, right?
I have no idea. I did not see it. I don't think anybody has finished Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Nobody out there has finished Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
But we know it gets wild at the end. That's what we know.
Yeah. And we know that the timeline and the snap is kind of messes everything. Like they don't acknowledge it or something.
Oh, so here's a question: do robots get snapped in the snap?
Do robots get snapped in the snap?
Because it's half of all life, right?
I guess it would depend on what the snapper considers to be life. So would Thanos consider a robot to be life? He probably wouldn't. So I'd probably say no, they don't get snapped.
But they take up resources, so or don't they?
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. It depends on what kind of robot. Your Roomba takes up resources.
Did Thanos snap half of all Roombas?
Did Thanos snap half of all Roombas? Probably not. Probably not.
Probably not. So like Vision, for example, you think he'd be safe if he obviously it didn't work out that way, but
if he wasn't required for the gauntlet, then he's a sentient being, though. I'd say he would be eligible.
Does he eat? Well, I guess he does eat. Because he ate in WandaVision.
He's like Data, right? He probably eats, but he doesn't have to.
Yeah. Anyway, what else? What else can we say? Um, I don't know. Have we seen the last of Batroc?
Sorry, say that again.
Have we seen the last of Batroc?
Who's Batroc?
The French dude from the first season.
Oh, yeah, probably. I think we're done with him
Dang, man.
until they do like another season or something.
What a waste. He's so good. So good.
Yeah, I think like I said, I think he's in like a Crossbones scenario where he's like he comes in, just to be like a warm up villain or something, you know.
Well, didn't Crossbones die? Didn't they
Yeah,
kill him?
Crossbones eventually died, but he
I
like
see. I
he
guess he
died
made
in
it
Civil
2 movies.
War, but he got a cameo in Endgame because of the time travel.
Oh, I remember now. Okay, I'm done with predictions if you are.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, we're in bonus time. I want to bring up some news. Black Widow.
Black Widow.
They have changed something about the release. Are you aware of this?
Yeah, I saw they pushed back like most of the schedule for this year.
But also, Black Widow. Previously, it was going to release in theaters, and then later on Disney Plus. Now it is a simultaneous release.
Oh, I did not hear that.
Yep.
Is it a additional price tag on it? Probably
For Disney Plus?
for Disney Plus, like they did with Mulan.
Yes. It's
$30 again?
$30.
Okay, of course.
Might as well go to the movies, right? For $30.
Be cheaper for me.
If you go by yourself, it's cheaper. Even if you go with 2 people and buy no snacks, it's cheaper.
Yeah, and I always do like the matinee, so it's like $6.
$30 seems greedy. Seems a little greedy when you're already charging for a subscription. I'd rather you not release it at all on demand.
Yeah, it'd definitely be worth it more than Mulan, but that's not saying much.
So, the real upshot of this is that the high price of the on-demand is going to push more people to movie theaters like AMC, which is going to push up the stock that I own in that company. So it's all working together. I'm pleased by this news.
Are you sure that's really what it's going to do, or is it just going to push more people to just wait for it to be free on Disney Plus
To see Black Widow,
to see Black Widow?
I don't know, man. Black Widow, I'm not sure about the mainstream appeal of Black Widow, but I also feel like people just need their Marvel fix. Like they'll watch anything with Marvel on it.
All right. Someone brought up a point about Black Widow. Actually, I can't remember where I heard it or read it, but it actually got me kind of worried because they were worried, and they said that all of the buzz around all this Marvel stuff right now, and Black Widow has like the least amount of buzz. Like nobody's really talking about it.
Well, I think there's a couple of reasons for that. First of all, she's dead. So we know this story doesn't really go anywhere. So it's almost like if you follow Marvel movies because you want the overarching story and you're like trying to catch and be ready for the next Avengers, you could probably skip this one. And that's a big negative. Secondly, it's a female character. There's a lot of people who don't like women out there. This is the society we live in. So I think movie with a female lead, that's also a negative. I think there's a couple things going against it.
No comment.
No comment.
I don't want to get canceled.
You don't want to get canceled. You don't acknowledge the existence of chauvinists.
I mean, yeah, they're out there.
Do you think they'll impact ticket or box office of Black Widow, or not a major consideration?
I think it'll be a non-issue. I think there's no. Well, there's not enough of a history yet, so I don't know. It could be a non-issue. I'm predicting it'll be a non-issue, but um,
Well, that's exactly the point, right? Like how many Marvel movies with a female lead have there been?
yeah, one, yeah,
So, uh, and it's not like they couldn't find any characters or they couldn't find a script. They've done the market research and they feel like it wouldn't sell. So,
dude, okay, all right. I feel like they just haven't done it right yet. That's what I'll say. Like,
of
I feel
course,
like if
but
they can do it right, it'll be great. Like Wonder Woman 1 was like that was done right. That was great. It was commercially and critically successful. Like
it's not about whether or not it's a good movie. It's about whether people will put down money to watch it.
well, yeah, I was saying people put down money to watch Wonder Woman. It was I think it was 700 mil.
It did really well.
Yeah, it did really
even
well.
the second one did well, even though it was debatably much worse.
Yeah, and it was during COVID and
It was during COVID. So like, but Black Widow does not have the name recognition of Wonder Woman, not even close. And Scarlett Johansson stock, just my opinion, I feel like it's trending downward as opposed to Gal Gadot, who's at an all-time high.
interesting opinion.
Is this a hot take?
Um, actually, I might. Now that you say that, I might tend to agree with you. I don't really know.
What has she done lately? What has Scarlett Johansson done lately?
Yeah, that's the question I'm asking myself right now. She got married to Colin Jost. That's what I can say.
She's been busy.
She's been busy.
Gal Gadot is also pregnant. She's been busy as well. Doesn't stop her.
Pregnant again? Or you mean
Yep.
pregnant?
Yep, she's. I follow her on Twitter, and she recently announced that she is pregnant.
She already has 2, right? This is the 3rd?
Yep, this
Okay.
would be the third.
Wow, okay. Go her.
Yeah. Where can I find? I just have to go to IMDb. Have you seen Lost in Translation? By the way, total tangent.
Total tangent? No.
All right. It's Scarlett Johansson and Bill Murray. I remember watching it and hating it, but this was in like 2003 when I was what, 14, 15.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that movie, if I watch it today as an adult, if I have a different opinion on it. So, all right, Scarlett Johansson's recent. I'll just go with things that were recently released. She was in nothing really in 2020, which is already kind of proving the point. She was Jojo Rabbit. She was in Jojo Rabbit. She was in Miscarriage Story, and then before that, Avengers, Captain Marvel, and that's it. She's literally done Marvel movies and Marriage Story.
Okay. Well, I mean, Marriage Story was good for
That was
her.
a big deal, right?
Yeah. It was like won
Won an
Oscars
Oscar.
and stuff. Yeah.
Adam Driver stock at an all-time high.
Yeah.
Oh, what if we have a running segment where we do actors and actresses trending, so like who's trending up, who's trending down. I think that'd be a good idea for a segment.
Okay. You mean like actors and actresses who are in the stuff we're talking about that week, or just like random people, like
Could be anybody.
stuff in the news?
We both come up with 3 up and 3 down. Actually, I'm stealing this from some sports show I used to watch. I don't remember. But 3 actresses or actors who are on their way up and 3 who are on their way down.
I'll think about it. Let me think about it.
Just an idea.
Okay. Yeah, so on the subject of that, the release and the delay, Shang-Chi got delayed too. Um,
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi. Yeah.
Uh,
Don't
okay.
correct me, Josh. Who's the
But
Asian one here?
I understand that, but it's written by Americans, so
Okay, fine. Shang-Chi.
yeah, yeah.
Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Have you seen the trailer for Ted Lasso?
No.
There's a do you know? Are you familiar with the show, the premise?
I'm familiar with what it is. Yeah, he's hired to coach a soccer team, and he thought it was going to be like American football.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a scene where he's telling the British lady, "It's like I have a plan," and she's like, "Plan, not
Plan.
plan, plan."
Plan.
That's what I thought of. Anyway, what were we talking about?
Talking about the movie delays, the two from the
Yes.
MCU, Black Widow and Shang-Chi, got pushed back to September.
Yep.
But they didn't go delay Spider-Man, which is supposed to be December still, I think.
Oh, I think. Oh, did they say why it was delayed, or did they just delay it?
I don't think they said why, but obviously it's COVID, right? I mean, Black Widow's been delayed like a bazillion times in the last year.
So is the logic they're waiting until theaters are more open so that they will get bigger numbers at the box office? Because I think that is dumb.
I think they are. What? Why would that be dumb?
Because you're essentially pushing your profits into the future. You just keep pushing everything back, but you're still paying the bills, right?
It's true, but it's Disney. They have deep pockets.
So then why not just release it if they're okay with taking a loss? Because they are taking a loss. That every second that you don't release it, you're taking a loss.
That's a good
I don't
point.
know. I also know that the financials in movies are deeply disturbed. So I don't pretend to know if it's
Yeah,
like
Hollywood accounting is a different kind of accounting. You need a different
yeah,
degree.
you're right. So what I just said may not be the opposite may be true. It may be beneficial for them to literally never release it. Um,
There's also the possibility that they don't know what they're doing, and what they're doing might hurt them more anyway, and they're just like, whatever.
it doesn't matter. Literally, they
That wouldn't be
they
the
could
first time a company does that. Wouldn't be the
they,
last.
they could film Jimmy Woo just talking to a camera for 2 hours, and it would probably print money.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so they okay. I forgot the other movie was The Eternals is still releasing in November, and Spider-Man's still releasing in December. So we're gonna get this crunch of movies in the last half of this year. It's gonna
Right.
be
So
July,
that's
September, November, December, all four Marvel movies, and we also haven't had four Marvel movies in 1 year yet. So they're just gonna cram it all in the last 6 months.
so another thing to support my point. Movie fatigue is a thing. If you release them all next to each other, they will cannibalize one another. So I say, in my uneducated opinion, just release the movies and move on with your life. The only thing I can think about is if filming has been delayed, but filming does not seem as if it has been delayed, or at least
That's
they've caught up.
Actually, that's a good point that you make, especially for Black Widow, because there's not going to be a Black Widow sequel, right? Well, like, it's not a sequel's not going to depend on how well this one does, right? Well, maybe they were hoping for the new Black Widow to take over. I don't know, but
Is the new actress in the movie?
um, she's in the movie. It's widely speculated that she's going to take the mantle. Um, I mean, she's actually you talk about actresses trending up. She'd be on my list. Her name is escaping me right now. Florence Pugh. Yeah, that's her name. Florence
Okay.
Pugh. So she's in the movie. She's in all the trailers. I'm not sure if she signed a multi-film deal with them, but she's definitely an actress that's trending upwards, and she's done like a lot of critically great movies, but she doesn't have like that one big franchise, so this is probably it for her.
This is probably it for her. That sounds really dark.
I mean, if you want to be like A-list actress, you got to have like one of those big, franchises, right? So yeah, I said that wrong. I said that wrong. This is gonna be it for her. She's gonna follow the other Black Widow's fate. Anyway, so yeah, that's what it's looking like for Marvel. We're at 50 minutes right now. Did you want to talk about Justice League? How did you want to, or did you want to do another separate pod for that?
We can do a separate pod. Instead, we can just wrap up. I just want to share what I'm watching this week.
Okay.
So, I am still grinding my way through Star Wars Rebels. It's been a pleasure. Happy that I made the decision to do that. I am also, I was kindly gifted, wasn't really gifted, they're letting me borrow it, a HBO Max subscription, which is, of course, how I watched Snyder Cut. But along with that is Doom Patrol. Are you familiar with Doom Patrol?
Yeah.
You've seen it?
I haven't seen it. I'm aware of it. There's an actress I really like that's in it. I was thinking about it, but I wasn't sure.
So Doom Patrol is actually a comic that I love. So being able to see these characters in live action, going to be watching that. So those are the two things I'm digging into this week.
Okay, sounds good. I might do the Doom Patrol then. I don't know.
Yeah. Or anything else you got on your plate?
I'm really anticipating the King Kong versus Godzilla movie.
Yes, I am going to see that in theaters. I should have mentioned.
Oh, you're gonna go see that in theater? Yeah, see that.
Yeah.
That one I am actually contemplating, but at the same time, I already have an HBO Max, so I might just watch it on the big TV instead of spending the extra money. But yeah, if there would be a movie to get me back into the theaters, that would be it for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be seeing in theaters. I didn't know it was on HBO Max. But it's really we're just going out with the friends. So.
Oh, you already made the plans and stuff.
I haven't technically booked it yet, but a
verbal
can't back out now.
Agreement. Yeah. Okay, I got you. Yeah. 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 It hasn't been delayed either, so hopefully.
Not yet.
Not yet. I think Warner Brothers is taking a different tact here, so I don't think they're going to do that for their movies. Yeah, so I'm really anticipating that. Since you mentioned Doom Patrol, I might hop on that. I'm not sure. I was thinking about getting into The Expanse again. I was just talking to a friend about it. I saw the first season and then I didn't catch up for the rest. So I might do that.
Expanse looks interesting. There's a lot of things on HBO Max that are interesting, like a lot of the animated DC shows. A lot of them are new to me. So yeah, there's a lot to watch.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, I'll wrap it up here. Josh and I tentatively will do another podcast on Justice League, and then of course we'll be back for the second episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier. So everybody, thanks for listening and take care.
Goodbye.